Good morning, my name is Nicole, welcome back. It is Monday morning at 7 something a.m., which is a little bit later than I wanted to wake up, but it's fine. And welcome to this week of vlogs, of writing blogs for Camp Nanowrimo. Now, I'm doing something very special this week. It's an experiment. It's not an experiment for YouTube, it's just something that I'm doing for myself, and I thought that I would share it. So I am going to be sitting with ceremonial cacao every morning this week, so for 5 days. Now, cacao, it's basically the purest form of chocolate, and there are a lot of sort of spiritual roots of it, and from South America. It's supposed to have a lot of health benefits. It makes your heart beat a little bit fast. One of the benefits that I've heard of cacao is that it does make you more creative, and I can see why, because it really does kind of just give you a little bit of a playing field to be a little bit more like emotional. Every time I've sat with cacao, it's been wonderful, but I've never done it and then had to like write and then go do a job. So we're gonna see how this goes. I know plenty of people who sit with it every day and who love it and who are just getting to know like the plant and the history. So it's kind of a learning experience for me. This is 100% cacao from Guatemala. It's produced by Firefly Chocolate, which is a fair trade company. So it is apparently grown in a remote village of 125 families that make 90% of their income from cacao. Flavor notes of fig, tobacco, and leather. Oh, that's why, you know what? I think that next time I buy some, I should not get the Glow in Guatemala, because tobacco and leather doesn't sound very good to me. Obviously, I've had some of this before. The mood is mothering, loving, and wise, and uses for insight and inner work. I am about to go upstairs and go make this cacao for myself, and it's going to be a normal vlog, but just know that every morning I'm going to be sipping cacao, and I will kind of report to you at the end of the week like how it went and if I felt like it impacted my creativity at all. So here is my little creativity bubble. I just drank my cacao. It's actually quite bitter, so by the end it was I only did like half a cup of it, but it was almost like a little bit difficult to drink. This is partially because I don't put it in a blender. I do what I have heard is a more traditional way of it, where you kind of like pass it back and forth between 2 cups. This isn't to be precious so much as if I don't want to put on the blender and wake up my family. I have my beautiful view, my laptop for the writing part, and then I did have incense, but the incense was burning and has stopped burning, and I didn't know that could happen to incense. So this week my goal is kind of to live my ideal routine. I'm off to a little bit of a bad start because I was up late last night editing a video, so I didn't get up at 6:45. I got up at 7:30. But my ideal day would be me getting up at 6:45, starting writing around 7:15, having breakfast at 8:45, and then starting work at 9. Previously, I was kind of doing this all an hour later, where I was starting work at 10, but then I found it a lot harder to keep going throughout the day, and my morning brain is my best brain, so I was missing some of my morning brain on work, which sucks. So I think that this will go a little bit better. Then I want to, sometime between 12 and 2, take a break for an hour to work out and then to have some lunch, and then my afternoon I'm keeping up to how I feel. So if it's a really nice day, usually my family and I will go swimming at our pool around like 4 or 5 and just hang out there. So if I don't have any work like meetings, I will probably stop working and go hang out with my family by the pool, or like join in the bike ride or whatever it is, and then come back at like 7 or whatever after dinner and do more work then. So my schedule for this week, I've planned it out really well, up until I'm gonna say like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and then I'm like, okay, just kind of go with the flow, and what I'm working on at night, it can either be work, or it can be YouTube, or it can be writing. So we shall see, but the majority of my writing will happen in the mornings. Okay, that's a lot of talking about scheduling. Let's talk a little bit about writing. So I'm feeling like I want to work on editing again my Christmas short stories. I found some really awesome ambient Christmas music thanks to Meredith Phillip Wright's channel. She did this awesome video about ambient music where she recommended all these channels, and there are so many Christmassy ones because I didn't want to listen to Christmas carols. I think that would just be too much for me right now, but the ambient music is really getting me in the mood to write about Christmas in July. It's actually kind of cold here right now, hence why I'm wearing like my llama poncho. Yeah, so I'm going to pull up that ambient Christmas music. I think I might listen to like Christmas Barn or something. And I believe I will work on the dad's short story. I have 90% decided, well, I have decided since now I'm going to write it, that it's going to be the mom is putting the kids, like getting the kids ready for the Christmas pageant, and the dad is kind of watching on. The kids are young. I think of short stories really as capturing a moment of change. Obviously, people don't change in an instant, but capturing a moment where they learn something and then take an action that is different than what they've been doing from now on. That point of decision, that point of change. I actually have a lot of positive character arcs in this Christmas short story series. The first one is like a negative revelation, but a positive arc. The second one right now is also a positive arc. The third one, that's the Sky's friend, is the first one. The second one is a positive arc. So we have like kind of positive, negative, positive. So it's kind of too much positive. I feel like that would get tiring for a reader, especially because I just added another one with a positive. The first one is like a revelation, but ends up gathering strength type thing. The second one is now going to be the dad's story, and it's going to be a very negative arc. The third one is likewise, I think, going to be a negative arc. This is Sky's friend. The fourth one is now going to be the one that I just wrote from Sky's perspective, and it's a very positive arc. The fifth one is also a positive arc, but it's more neutral. It's not a huge change in the characters. It's kind of a lovers meet scene, and it's sad. It's not the same. I think it works. It goes from like negative to more of a neutral and a possibility, then negative to happy, and then the last one is happy. So I'm going to start working on the dad's story. I think I'm just going to start writing and zero draft about, maybe I'll try to do like 500 words, and then I'll go back and I'll outline what this story is actually going to be. Okay, so I just wrote 960 words in the dad perspective short story, kind of as a zero draft. I think it's going well. I like where it's going. I think that this was the right decision, so that is good. The story it's trucking along. I mean, some of the stories in this series have been so easy for me to write. The last one by which is Noah's perspective, which was the first one that I wrote, that one was so easy, and somehow I just kind of got the voice so quick. The key to this series really is nailing diverse voices, so having 3,000 words in 3,000 words for every voice in 6 or 7, I haven't decided yet, very diverse, distinct, right off the bat voices. And that is really hard for me to do. The dad, I'm not quite sure how to take it. I'm leaning a lot on A Star Is Born. I keep thinking of that in my head as I'm writing it, so we'll see. I don't know if that's the most realistic portrayal. I might have to do some Googling to get some more research into what my character is experiencing. But that is that. That is good. It is 9:22, so I am behind when I wanted to start working. I have to go eat breakfast. As I'm writing this story, I can't help thinking of kind of the whole progression of the stories. And I know right now I have kind of a negative to positive. I have, which is Laura. Then I have a neutral, negative to more negative, which is the dad. Then I'm going to have like a neutral to negative again. And then I have a positive, negative to positive, kind of. And this one is like Sky's kind of descent, like a dark one, and then this one is kind of like rising, and there's a whole lot of time between these two stories. The new third and fourth story is the one told by Sky's friend and the one told by Sky. So I'm thinking that I might actually have to do some switching around because I don't like those stories being right next to each other. I think it's too much of a reversal if you're putting them in order. So I might have to change how things go. The only problem with that is the timeline of events in the story. So there is something that happens okay, so we have Laura, we have the father, we have Sky's friend right now, we have Sky, we have Diana, and we have Noah's story. So there's something that happens in this story here that is important, very important to the family, that we find out here that Sky is not supposed to know in this story, which is why it happens first. And the change that happens in this story is what makes her not know what's in this story. So if this happens before this change, then she's gonna know. Enriched oils in an indulgent coconut. And I don't think I can still make her a likable character if she knows this thing. If she knows this thing and doesn't take action. So, if I want to have a story in between here, 3 and 4, I'm gonna have to come up with something else. Damn. I'm not sure. I don't know what to do. Right, so that is 1,021 words done for this morning. I didn't actually get to doing any outlining because it's almost 9 o'clock, so I have to go eat breakfast and get to work. But I think that went pretty well. I'm still working on the same short story. I'm not finished it, so I now have 2,000 words in the story. I'm not totally 100,000% happy with how it's structured. I think there's going to be some rewriting in there, but this is a first draft, 0 draft, and then I will make it better structured with the inciting incident, the progressive complications and stuff. I'm just getting kind of the base events and voice and stuff in there, so that's going pretty well. It's weird to switch between your editing and your drafting brain. Okay, it's morning, so I'm gonna go check on my veggie garden. Here is our tomato plant, and it is crazy. The other day we woke up and we actually have little tomatoes growing, and this is our first time ever growing vegetables, so it's super duper exciting. I'm completely freaking out about it. That's another tomato. It doesn't have any plants yet because it hasn't had any flowers. Then we have the watermelon and the lettuce. That baby lettuce was hidden under another big one, which we already ate. Here's another watermelon that's doing pretty well. Look, it has all these little buds for flowers. It's like falling out of its pot. We know that we probably should transfer it to soil, but we haven't done that yet. Good morning. It is Wednesday. It's 8 a.m. and so clearly my desire to start writing at like 7:15 is not happening because I have not started yet. I'm just apparently not very good at waking up early. I know that if I do it, then I'll like automatically kind of just go to bed early and everything will be good, but that's too, you know, reasonable to do. So my goal for this writing session, I think I was gonna outline, and I keep saying that, I kind of want to finish this short story. So what I might do is I'm gonna set an alarm for a 30-minute writing sprint to try to finish off, or at least do a huge chunk of the rest of this short story, which is from the dad's perspective, and then move on to outlining because, you know, because I was too tired to actually do anything, but instead I just wrote out the 22 steps for myself so I wouldn't have to write them out today. From the Anatomy of Story, so I'm going to kind of do a read and plot as I go, because this is so dense. I feel like if I was to read it and then try to do it, I would just forget all of the information about each individual step. So I'm doing the plot as I read thing. They also give really good examples, so I think that could also be fairly inspiring. When I did this last time, I did it for my pirate story, which never came to fruition, but which I may revisit at some point. I actually wrote like little notes under each plot point in pen, no less, of what it would be in my story. Thank you, 16-year-old me, for totally messing up my book. That should have been in pencil. But yeah, that's my plan, so I'm gonna set my timer for 30 minutes. Okay, so that didn't really work out the way I've planned. Instead, it was like a 45-minute sprint, and I wrote 1,386 words, and I finished the first draft of the first story. So it was productive, yay! That was actually a pretty good writing session, so I do think that, like, looking over the full short story, I'm probably gonna let it sit for a little bit. I know there's definitely some reworking that's gonna have to happen here, but I think, yeah, I don't think I have the character arc super smooth on this one yet. That's some of the strengths of the other ones, but this one, not quite yet. I think that the change might be a little bit too abrupt. We'll have to see. I have to leave it for a week at least before I go back and do re-edits on it. I might also throw it up on Scrib. Though it's not always like expert or reliable feedback, I don't need expert or reliable feedback at this point. I really just need like this is super boring, I don't understand what's going on, blah blah blah. And when I ask for that, I've gotten really good results. Okay, so yes, I am going to pull out my notebook and my Anatomy of Story. I am going to switch my background music probably to musicals or something instead of the ambient Christmas music I've been listening to, which is lovely. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, so that didn't go super well. One of the things about Cacao is that there is like an emotional effect to it. So when I was on YouTube just taking a little break before starting my outlining, I saw, you know, news articles about Naya Rivera, so I got very kind of sucked into those and spent about an hour just taking in the tragedy of it and being so sad about it. Kind of got off track a little bit. And then one thing that I've noticed, not yesterday or the day before, but a lot of times when I do Cacao in ceremony, I'll feel very kind of shaky and get a really fast heartbeat. I'm not feeling that so much in the small amounts that I'm sipping in the morning, but I did feel more of it today where like my leg was shaking. So it's 10:13 and I haven't actually started working yet. So it's probably going to be a little bit of a shorter day, unfortunately, but that is okay. It was kind of nice just to take a second right now, but now I actually do have to get to work because I have a meeting at 11. It's time to get to work. Alright, okay, so it is actually Saturday, so if you've been watching this vlog, you're like, excuse me, the last time we talked to you was Wednesday. So, yeah, I didn't vlog, whatever it is, on Thursday or Friday because it was busy and I didn't really feel like it, and also I kind of let my Cacao experiment go down the drain a little bit. There are a few reasons for this. The first one is that honestly, I thought I would like enjoy sipping it every morning. It takes some time to prepare. So I wasn't loving that it was taking a little bit of time in my morning as much as I like to do it. There was a little bit of like okay, I need to get stuff done depending on what time I woke up, and get to writing so I can get to work because I don't want to be working until like 8 o'clock at night. So that was one thing. The second one, which is the bigger reason, is that this tastes really, really bitter. It does not taste very good. And I am, starting to like cacao and to sit with cacao and to like learn about the history and the, get a bit of a connection to it, but it tastes really bad. And I don't make it very well. I think it's partially because of how I'm making it. So the first few steps are great, and then I get to the end and I'm just like kind of choking it down. So I couldn't do that any morning, but I had it this morning, so that's 3 days, and I will report to you maybe tomorrow, maybe on Sunday, just about if I felt it made any difference. Definitely so far, like, yes, but not in a super good way. If you saw on Wednesday, I had like the hour-long breakdown about Nanowrimo. So it hasn't been great for productivity, but absolutely in terms of like heart opener, it's been good. And for creativity, I have not been super. I've been writing a lot this week. I finished that short story, which you saw. I've been doing a little bit of outlining, which you did not see because I didn't film it. But I haven't really seen too much of a difference. But that's okay, like, this isn't something that's supposed to magically make you more creative, so I'll see what today brings. I think there's going to be a lot of outlining today and maybe some editing of the short stories. I literally say that every single time, so let's just keep watching. Yeah. So I don't know if it was the cacao or what today, but I have pretty much finished my outline. Well, the structural outline. So the Anatomy of Story has 22 steps of like plot structure that you figure out. The only one that I'm missing right now is drive. I have not filled that out yet because I am bad at like coming up with specific events. I think if you tried to match this to Save the Cat, not that I've read it super closely, but it's kind of like the fun and games portion where there's just not a lot of specificity on what you're supposed to do and how to come up with events, so the hero kind of has to like go through a bit of a moral decline and like come up against higher and higher obstacles. So I sort of have an idea, but like I'm not willing to commit to anything yet, so I'm just kind of in the brainstorming stage for that. But everything else I have written down and ready to go, so it's very bright. Okay, I'm gonna do more brainstorming and work on the drive and get that settled, and then I can pull out my, where'd it go? Sticky notes, because I don't have cue cards on me, and do my scene weave, which is going to be so much fun, and then I will be ready to write. So this outlining goal, it's July something now, like 100% I'm going to be able to finish outlining by the end of the month. Once I have the scene weave, I think the only other thing, well, there's 2 other things that I have to do. I have to figure out who the supporting characters are and do like a flesh out of the school, because there's more obviously than my 5 main characters or big functional characters. There has to be like a whole cast of people. So that's one thing I have to do. And then I haven't decided on the narrative device and point of view yet for the story, so I have to do some experimenting with that. But I think if I can finish this either later today, the whole drive thing, or like this weekend, then I will be in really good setup. Yay! On top of that, though, I do have to work on the Christmas short stories, which are falling a tad behind. I have 1 more to free write draft, because earlier in this video I was doing this like finger thing, and I was like, story 1, 2, 3, I had to have something in between here. I thought of something to put in between here, so I have to rewrite it. It's basically a rewrite of what used to be my second story, but now the characters are older. 6,000 words plus outline, supporting characters, and working on narrative drive. Is it realistic for the rest of the month? I don't know. So this vlog also was about trying to drink cacao every day. It is a lovely thing to sip on. I don't think I can drink it every day because I don't like the taste. Maybe I should try one that has flavors that are not of fig and tobacco and leather, because it's really hard to drink. But today especially, I did feel like I felt very productive. It's just that it is variable. It's not reliable in the way that caffeine is reliable, and you know you're always gonna get, I mean, I don't even know because I don't drink coffee, but if caffeine were if something affected you the same way every time, that would be great. But I feel like nothing does that. Nothing affects you exactly the same way every time. So it's a bit of it's not like a dice turn, because it's not going to screw up your day or anything, but it does definitely change your mood a little bit. So sipping with it every day is probably not great. It's something that I'm gonna, I think, keep doing. I'll probably have it at least once this coming week and just start incorporating it into my routine. I never did actually get to fully enact my ideal routine because I'm not good at waking up early in the morning, apparently. I used to be really good at this. I think it's probably because I'm not going to bed early enough. So I'm gonna continue trying to wake up earlier. All right. I would love to hear from you. What do you do to set your creativity or to inspire creativity and to create a sort of writing mood? What's your daily routine like? And how do you outline and or edit your projects? Thanks very much, guys, and talk to you next time.